Welcome, 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 welcome to our first live broadcast of Diary of a Not So Mad Black Woman. And I have with us today three phenomenal, beautiful women. I can't say enough about them. Intelligent, beautiful. They are trendsetters. They are uh, world changers. Y'all see I'm stuttering a little bit because I'm just so excited about this show today. So we are actually going to record two shows today. In our first segment, we're going to talk about being Black. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to say black, and I said Black. I don't even know if I'm going to edit this out or I'm just going to let it flow because I want to make the point that we are not Black. We are not Black. This is Black. We are not Black. We are African American, and many people don't like that term, but for the sake of this show, until I can think of something better, we are African American. So we're going to talk about being African American women in uh, in our society, in the workplace, and in education. And we're going to learn from these beautiful ladies, their experiences, what they're doing today, and how they can help us with some of the lessons that they've learned in their lives to kind of help us navigate our way through some things. So I have with me today Sierra Sanders. Sierra is currently a law student at Southern University in Louisiana. She is currently pursuing her law degree. And I'm going to give Sierra an opportunity to introduce herself further. As well, we have Kiera Baker. Kiera is currently working for a financial institution. She is a customer service, and Bree, you're going to have to help me with your role and your title and what you do on your job. But she is also an entrepreneur. She does hair braiding and other things to supplement her income with her family, and she is very newly married. And then finally, we have Mariana Sanders, who again works for a financial institution, and she will introduce herself as well and what she does. And also she's in school. She's going to school for IT, following after her mom's footsteps. And by the way, in case you didn't know, all three of these young ladies are my daughters. So I want to open up the panel to our guests to introduce themselves and tell a little bit about who you are and what you do. And if you can just give us a brief statement of what your experience has been as a Black woman, either in, or African American woman, either in corporate America or education, or what your area is. And I'll leave it up to you who goes first.
So I'll start out. My name is Mariana, and I am currently a student at Northern Kentucky. So I have about 4 semesters left until I get my degree. I also work in tech support. So for my role, we work with troubleshooting terminals for merchants and things like that. So as far as my experience, I would say I'll just start with school. So my school is a PWI. I used to live on campus my first year. After that, I started to commute, and then COVID hit. I would say my experience with that academically, my school is great. Socially, not so great for a African American woman, proud to be African American. Of course, everyone has different experiences. A lot of my peers have had good experiences, but me personally, I didn't really have a good experience at my school. It's just not the social scene that I was expecting. And just being like African American, it's kind of a racist school. Once a year, we would have a racist incident where they would color the rock something racist. And this is during Trump time. So, y'all know them Trump supporters were out and crazy. So, that's my experience there. As far as my experience in my profession, The job that I have now, I work for an awesome company. I haven't had any like discrimination or issues like that with this current job. But previous to that, I was in the serving industry, and I can say that I could probably write a book on the racism that I experienced there.
Thank you, Mary.
Hello, my name is Kiera. Um, I am one of seven children. I am the middle, got the best of both worlds. I actually work with Mary, work for an awesome company. Um, I have not experienced in the corporate setting any racism, and I hope that I don't experience it because I'm not really good with my words. And, I get upset really, really easy. So I pray that no one ever, gets me there. But I have heard stories of other people's experiences of, racism in the corporate world. And I feel for them because I feel like no one should be mistreated just because of the color of our skin. We can't, choose who we are. Well, we can choose who we are. We can't choose what color we are. We don't choose what family we were born into. Um, and this is my 3-year-old daughter who wants to be just like her mommy. But yeah, so that's about all I have on experiences in with racism in work, and that's it.
Thank you, Kiera.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sierra Sanders, and I am, as my mother stated earlier, a third year law student at Southern University Law Center. Before coming to Southern University Law Center, I have worked in corporate America for about 5 years. So I have unfortunately had a couple of run in experiences with racism. Um, they weren't the best, but I think that having a mother who has also gone through these experiences kind of helped me to deal with them on my own. Um, but yeah, I hope that there are more questions about it because I have a whole bunch of stories, as Mariana stated earlier.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sierra. And so I'll share a little bit about myself as well. And I've shared or tried to share that I've been in the IT industry for over 20 years now. I started my IT career in web development. I started doing web development, and then I started doing business analysis to business relationship management, and then my career progressed into project and program management. So I've been in the corporate environment for many, many years. I've worked for a lot of the major organizations here in the Cincinnati area, tri-state area. So I've worked for Fifth Third Bank. I've worked for Luxottica. I've worked for First Group America, which is best known for Greyhound services. I've also worked for, currently I work for Procter and Gamble. So I've been around the block. I've worked for Humana over the last 20 years. I would say maybe the last maybe 8, 9 years, I've been a consultant. So I've been doing a lot of consulting work, which has allowed me or afforded me an opportunity to work within different organizations. And I can't believe I forgot the state of Ohio. My path has been such that I have encountered a lot of issues around racial disparities in the corporate environment. And it is my mission to help other people like me to learn how to navigate through these things and to give them practical and tangible support and tools that they can use in order to be successful. So that's a little bit about me. But let's jump into our questions. There is absolutely a kind of a gap in our age, although I do recognize as a millennial. What is it that people say? I identify as a millennial. I am trans millennial, I guess is the right term, right?
I am
So
here for that term. Awesome.
So there is a gap, a small gap in our age, and I'm interested in finding out about your experiences as a millennial in the workplace. And so I came up with a few questions. With a little help, but I came up with a few questions. And so my first question is, can you help me understand, or our audience to understand, what challenges do you think millennials face that are unique to your specific generation? And again, I'll allow you to answer in whatever order you want.
I think that a lot of people, especially older people who have been in corporate America for a long time, they tend to say that millennials are lazy. And I think that that's a misconception because I believe that millennials, they when they work on something, they do something, they're not going to stay in it long, if they aren't feeling it. They know what they want. And I feel like they perceive it as being lazy because once they, find out that an opportunity that they have is not for them and they move on to something that they believe is going to elevate themselves in the workplace, then they view it as ungrateful and lazy. That's one that I would say.
And that's interesting that you said that. And one of the things that I meant to mention earlier is that as you were going through your introduction, it's fascinating that each of you have had your own unique experiences. And what I'm finding is that they're on separate spectrums, right? But when you talk about the laziness and the perception you know, that is handed off to millennials, I recognize that that is not true, because I think that some of the, especially the jobs that I've worked on, some of the most dedicated, loyal, and committed people have been millennials, which, by the way, which is why I am a little biased when it comes to working with younger people. I love to work with people who are innovative, right? So I have, not only have I experienced that as I was coming into corporate America, but I've also seen that. So I've witnessed that, that people do treat millennials as if they're lazy, because there is a difference in how millennials operate, and their tolerance for a lot of things, right? Like you mentioned, they may move on to something quicker than someone from a different generation. So that's great. Who else wants to?
I agree with what C said about, people thinking that millennials are lazy, which I don't think that we're lazy. Like she said, I just think that once maybe, we feel that our assignment is done and we feel like there's a greater opportunity, we're going to go for the better opportunity, so that we can afford the lifestyle that we enjoy to live. But I don't think that we're lazy. I think that we have created a lot of opportunities, like in the world, as far as like, I don't know, understanding technology, or like, the different like styles that we bring out now. But lazy, I don't think we're lazy.
Yeah. And when you think about it, if you kind of reframe or change that mentality, really millennials have the tenacity and the strength to be bold enough to say, I know what I want, and I'm willing to go for it and take the risk to get what I want to achieve. So that's a great quality of a millennial. Mary, do you have anything on the topic?
Yeah, I would say that the challenge would be just like for more traditional workplaces that are set in their ways. Millennials are, well, I've only lived in this generation, so I can only speak to this generation. It just seems like a lot of stuff that would traditionally be tolerated, or traditional ways, we don't conform to that and try to fit into that mode. We're more so, yeah, no, we're not going to put up with that.
again, I admire that because most of my career has been, I've been a habitual conformist, right, to the status quo and, just the way of doing things. And I think recently in my career, I decided, right, that I'm going to have a voice, and I lean a lot on the behaviors of the millennials that I see it for my strength, right? Because you guys are just bold and how you approach things. The next question that I have is, how do you think your generation is changing the world or shaping the future?
I'll start. So just to go off what I was just saying, like I feel like our generation, we have a lot more access to, like, I feel like each generation they have their information, their access and things like that. But just with social media and technology, I just feel like we're more aware of what is going on. Like, for example, when I was like younger and I didn't have as much access, I had no idea what was actually going on in the world. So I feel like we definitely we don't put up with all of like the racism and stuff like that and sexism and even just the disrespect. A lot of people feel like because they're a manager, they can disrespect you or speak to you any kind of way, and they're used to that because either that's how they were done or that's how they've seen their parents done, and that's how they think that they can do us. But millennials, we I'm gonna speak for myself and my siblings because we were raised to respect adults. So if we give you respect, we expect respect in the same way. So I feel like we're just millennials are changing things by not really putting up with certain types of disrespect and certain types of ways that has become a custom or come like people become used to.
One way that I would say, which I believe that Bree alluded to earlier, was that we've created a lot of opportunities. Um, there's a 7-year-old YouTube star that's making millions of dollars because he can do that from, the comfort of his home on YouTube. And I think that, there are a lot of millennials who, or there are a lot of older people who were used to, just rapping and being the only stars. And now there's stars all over and you can make money so many different ways. And I think that millennials have contributed to that and are really making it a way of life. Like the president has his own Instagram and is probably making money off the ads that, he promotes on there. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Any
I agree with the girls. That we are definitely bolder. We are fearless, and we don't tolerate things that was tolerated back then. So I
yeah.
think that's how we're changing the world by being our own voices. And I think that I feel like the millennials as like we stick together as well, you know. So like if we see one person doing something or like if we see something is trending or something like that, we'll hop on the trend as well. We'll keep it going for maybe like the content creator or whoever started the trend, we'll keep it going for them. So
I'm learning. I'm learning. That's great. Great. But that leads into my next question. How do you think technology and social media has impacted your generation?
I feel like it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah,
How
it's
so?
definitely some. Go ahead.
I feel like it's a blessing because, like Mary said, before she experienced social media, she didn't really know much about like what was going on in the world. And I'm sure she probably could say life was much peaceful. It was way more peaceful before she knew everything that was going on. But I say that it is a curse as well because it's like now we know everything that's going on, and some things I feel like, people try to be in competition with or try to live up to, the standards of someone else. And it's not really healthy for like their lifestyle or whatever. And then like, now we see more like police killings and stuff like that. And it's just social media kind of depressing, but it's informational as well.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think that there are some pros to social media if you're using it in a way that, you can monetize off of it, or if you're spreading the gospel through social media. But there has to be an effective way to use it, because there's a lot on social media, and I don't believe that we were meant to have that much information at our fingertips, me personally, because it's just so much. Like, how can you think about or perfect one thing if there's so much coming at you at once? And then the fact that everyone, like Bree said, compares themselves to each other. I don't think that that's healthy at all. It's causing a lot of depression. I think there was a study that I read a few years ago about teenagers and them wanting to commit suicide. There was, I think it began with that suicide over at Winton Woods. There was a suicide over there, and then there was a lot more coming out about it. And then I read further into it, and social media contributes a lot to that, because they feel inadequate, or they don't feel like they have the newest car, the nicest clothes, because they see that on social media and they see those likes. It's like that dopamine. If you don't have that acceptance from the world, then you feel inadequate. So I think yeah, it's definitely a blessing and a curse if you use it the right way. Social media is not meant to be used in certain ways. That,
Right.
yeah.
On the suicide topic, I actually read an article as well. It was questioning like, is suicide today's like natural death? And I feel like, with suicide rates going up with like social media, being like, I don't know, the first thing that we look at when we wake up. I feel like although like people, get depressed about like likes and, not having the fanciest cars and stuff like that, I also feel like people, I won't necessarily say like, I don't know the right word, so I don't want to sound like I'm not being sympathetic, but a lot of times when someone is about to commit suicide, they will post about it on social media before they do it, as if like that's their suicide note, or their cry for help or whatever. So I feel like that kind of like became trendy as well, for like people to do that when they're going through like that phase in their life or whatever. But yeah, I agree. And then I guess another good way to use social media is like, you can really network on social media. You can network on social media. You can build a brand on social media. You can promote on social media. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to tap into that. The suicide rates going up. Um, and it
And that
all
that
leads back to social media.
and that's fascinating that you brought that up, because that kind of hit me when you said that suicide being the natural cause of death, or being a category of natural cause of death. That is horrific, right? When we think
Yeah.
about that, and how, as you were mentioning earlier, Sierra, that social media plays into a person's desire to want to be like someone else, and not understanding that God made us in his image and in his image alone. But in that, we are all peculiar and uniquely made, right, as ourselves. And so, as we continue to try to emulate, or not emulate, because we can't emulate something that we don't have a part of, but when we try to simulate the identities of other people, then it creates a mental health issue, right? Or mental illness that will perpetuate, like you said, Bree, how people will leverage social media to as a banner, right? To say, this is what I'm going to do. But this is a serious topic, and I'm glad that you brought it up. I know we definitely need to talk a little bit more about it. We can have a whole show right around this topic. And as a matter of fact, maybe it might be our next one if you guys come back and talk about it. But that's a huge phenomenon. Uh, but it does lead, and I want to give Mary, if you had something that you wanted to share on that topic as well, and then I have another question that I wanted to ask.
Just that I agree. It can be used for good or bad. I feel like it's very addictive, which is not good. And also just seeing everybody's life, it gets people into a competitive comparing type of thing. But if you're using it to like spread the gospel, like C said, or to bring awareness to what's going on, that's a benefit of it.
Yeah. And so I know we're almost running out of time, but I had two more questions that I really wanted to talk through, and I think is relevant, right, based on what we brought up. The one question is, how do you think your generation is navigating issues like work-life balance, financial stability, and we touched on it, right? Personal identity, right? And then I also wanted in that question, again, because we're running out of time, if you could also address what types of advice would you have for people when they're dealing with different stresses, things that may help you as you navigate through and succeed in some of the trials or tribulations that you face. And again, you can go in any order.
Well, I'll go so that it's, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'll be really quick.
Don't be
So
quick. We
okay.
can definitely go over because I want us to be able to help, right? Help people. So don't fear being quick. So
Okay, so the first question I believe was regarding work life balance. And I think that millennials are handling it way better than generations before us. And they even say that the companies that I've worked for, a lot of the times, the people who I'm working for, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm stressed out and it just seems like complete chaos. And I can't imagine a life like that. Even, going into the profession that I'm going into, I still believe that everybody should have a work life balance. um, but I also believe in, playing hard, working hard and playing hard. So that's one of my philosophies. Just mental health is really important to take care of, and you can't really take care of your mental health if you're at work all the time. If you are on vacation and you're answering work phone calls, I don't think that that's great. And a lot of generations before us have done it. Um, the second question, the piece of advice that I would give for what? Could you repeat the question?
if you can just give advice to our audience or anyone that's listening. At first, I said to someone in your age group, but anyone in general, how do you navigate through some of these things, and what is some advice, things that you've tried that has worked to deal with stress?
I would say hygiene. So it's really, really, really easy to neglect yourself when you're stressed out. Um, Getting your nails done. Like I had just got my nails done all semester just yesterday, and I felt renewed. Like just getting a pedicure and a manicure. I think that taking care of yourself and having a routine where you take care of yourself at least once a week. That is really important. Praying, having a good support system. I think that that's really important. My mom and my sisters, we have a group chat, and we get some stuff out in there, and I think that that helps a lot with my stress. And just making sure you don't have any negative people around you, because that will really pull you down. If you're feeling stressed out and you got people in your ear being negative, wanting to fight everybody and wanting to argue about everything, then that's going to 100% increase your stress. So I just think that having a good support system, taking care of yourself, being intentional about taking care of your mental health, that those are all really good things that'll help you deal with stress, because stress comes with life. So you'll have to have stress regardless.
Great.
Um, I would say that to balance work and life, I feel like our generation does great at that. As Sierra mentioned, mental health is something that is very important, something that is like becoming a trending topic. And rather people jump on it because it's a trend or jump on it because they really need that help. I feel like we're taking our mental health a lot more serious than previous generations may have, and we're putting ourselves above a job. I feel like a lot of older people that I speak with, their job is their way of life. So their job is the way they make ends meet. So they're putting that over their mental health. But I feel like our generation is realizing that I have to be at a certain place to operate at this job to make my way of life. And I feel like it's so many ways to get money and get like make your ends meet, that people don't just get stuck on, oh, I have to keep this job for 10 years, like I can find something else. Now, as far as financial stability, I think that's like more individual than a generation thing, because I feel like we definitely need more education about financial stability, and we need more like habits and things like that to create at a younger age. And my piece of advice that I would give to people is just don't let anybody make you feel a way that you're not comfortable with. If it's for 5 minutes, if it's for 5 months, like always know your self worth and make sure you keep yourself, like put yourself first always in every situation, whether that's work, whether that's relationships, friends, whatever the case may be. And as far as financial, I think that we all need to just try to get more educated and just create better practices.
Great, great.
So of course I agree with the girls what they said. I feel like we do balance work. We have a a good work life balance. Jesus Christ. And I think that's because like we understand that, you know, if something happened to you, you know, if you pass away or if you're in a hospital, the job is going to replace you before you know your family finished grieving over you. And we feel the same way. We're going to find a new job before you can tell me anything that I don't want you to say negative to me. So it's like deuces. Which you want me to say bye, or you want to be the one to say bye? So I think that's, you know, why we handle it differently, because that goes back to us being bold, you know. As far as the be quiet. As far as excuse my child, I am so sorry.
We're gonna
She
allow her to speak as well because she has a perspective and we need to hear it.
she has a perspective and she's very unapologetic. As far as advice, or yes, advice. It goes back to what C said. Be intentional about self-care. And I know, like she said, you know, she got up and got her nails done and stuff like that, and that is good as well. But I also just learned, I was watching this podcast, and the lady was like, people think that self-care means like, you know, you have to do something for yourself, like maybe like go shopping, or you know, take yourself on a date or something like that. But she was like, self-care literally can just be lighting a candle, or you know, washing 3 dishes um out of your sink, or just doing something that's going to help you be a better like you, and have a better I guess like be in a better mental space for that day, or to get you out of whatever mental space that you're in. But I definitely agree. I agree that we need more self-care. And whenever you feel as if you're getting overwhelmed, it's okay to say no. It's okay to ask for help. And yeah, just be intentional about everything.
Yeah. Well, I can just tell you, I said I was going to get through this episode without tearing up. I teared up a little bit. I just didn't flat out cry, but I am so proud of the women that you all have become and that you're developing into. And I am from that generation that is guilty, right, of putting work first. And in my mind, as we were raised, I'm a 70s baby, and it was drilled in us. Mine is a terrible thing to waste. Education is the key. And we were taught to conform to the structure of society that said, work first. If you work hard, you'll get a reward. What you guys have seen through that hard work that your dad and I have put in to establishing a life that we have today is that we missed out on a lot. I have a lot of regrets when it comes to the sacrifices that I've made and with my children, and not being able to just savor the time that I had with you, right? And now you all are adults and women, and I enjoy the relationship that we have today. But sometimes I reflect back and I'm like, man, these jobs that are no longer a part of my life took so much and consumed so much of my life. And I missed out on those who were left behind, right? Meaning my family. So I am so godly proud that you all got the message, right? What they say, you knew the assignment and you got it. So I am just so proud that God has developed you all into who you are and allowed your dad and I to be a vessel to aid in that. And it was something I was thinking about when Bree, when you and Mary, when you guys started working for your company, and they had a day. I want to say it was Mental Health Day, but it wasn't Mental Health
Personal
Day.
choice.
What is
Or
it?
no, what was it called, Bree? It was something.
I think it is personal choice.
No,
Per-
that's the personal choice
Personal choice
holiday. It was
holiday.
something else. No, it was something else. It was like a one. It was a personal day that you get to take, and it because personal choice holiday is different. That's more hours, but they used to give us one day that you don't need no explanation. You just take that day and you can have it.
Yeah. And that's why I like the company as well. They're huge. I feel like they're huge on mental health.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of clubs. This is like I started the job right when COVID happened, and I was so devastated because it kind of reminded me of a college, like being there. You know, every college have different clubs, like they have like Greek life, they have like book club, they have African American club and stuff like that. And our job offered that. They offered that to us. They had like women's clubs. They even had club. I think they're ranked like 10th for accepting people in the LGBT community or whatever. So they're really, really big on just
Inclusion.
having a shoulder to lean on, I guess. And I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. But yes, they give us hours.
It's
Yeah,
always
focus on
good.
yourself.
It's always good to have a sense of belonging. And so when you guys told me about that, that was so foreign to me. I was like, what?
Mhm.
They give you what? But you have helped me to evolve as a professional in my career where it comes to the expectations. I have recently begun a journey to be intentional about securing my own mental health, because when you think about the strain of some of the day-to-day dealings with the structure of our corporate society and what it was, as I was coming through it, and where it is today, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I am taking seriously what I do as far as maintaining my mental health. And I am taking lead from you guys, believe it or not. It is your generation that is empowering me to be bold, right? So, any parting words? I want to give everybody, I want to go around the room, give you all an opportunity to give any parting words that you have. This is our first live broadcast. I'm so proud of it. We're going to get better as we go. And I'm hoping that you all will accept the invitation to come back at least once a month. Y'all got to give mama once a month. And we can talk about things, because I believe God has put something in you that others can benefit from, and God has placed it in you, and they need to get it from you. And I want to use this platform to do it. So, parting thoughts.
I I'll start. I just want to say that I am so thankful for this podcast. I'm so thankful for my mother and my sisters. When I say that that is my support system, I mean that in every single way. Like when we were talking about the group chat and things like that. I am so blessed. I'm the baby, y'all. I'm so blessed to have these wise women just helping me through this life. I would say my advice to the viewers, please stay prayed up. Pray, pray, pray. Keep your relationship with God. And I said before that we need to put ourselves above everything, but put God even above yourself, and just stay prayed up. Stay true to yourself and live out of love. There's so much hate in the world. Just live out of love.
Yeah.
That was good. Yes. Thanks, Mom, for having us. This has been awesome. One thing that I will leave the viewers with is you can't take care of nobody else until you take care of yourself. So, like Bree said earlier, put yourself first. And to Mary's point, yes, keep God first. Life is a whole lot easier out here with God than to be out here living without Him. Trust me. Yes.
I agree. Keep God first. No, well, Mom, thanks for having us. And I want to say, I mean, I know regret is a natural feeling, but I don't think that you should regret, feeling like you missed out or on, just different things in life. But I think that now it's like, now you know that, these jobs are crap. So turn up. Like it's your time to shine now. Like you said, your kid's grown. What word did you just adopt? You a what millennial?
I'm a trans millennial.
A trans millennial, yeah. So let's get into it. Let's get into living out the millennial lifestyle. Forget these people who forget about you. Ain't nobody about to beg nobody, to treat me right. Guess what I'm gonna do? On to the next. Like I said, these jobs they replace us. So why we can't replace them?
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Let me tell you, I said I wasn't going to cry. Now, here you go. All right. KK, you're going to be our last word for the show. What you got to say, baby?
You can't hear. I got my headphones in.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, that covers it for us tonight. You guys hold tight, ladies, but we're going to end the recording at this time.